I hear another form of coaches, which are probably older, that are a little bit cynical in their thinking, which is that I'm not getting into those rooms due to the fact that I don't have the experience and I don't come from this environment. So if you have a coach that has that mentality or is having that experience, what would your advice be to someone like that?
Yeah, I do realise that in professional sport there is a lot of roles given to those who have performed the highest level of the village. You know, we're looking for an assistant coach for the first team, so we'll get an ex-first team player. And that happens in all sports in varying degrees of success. And you can understand why they make those appointments. But to those people who haven't kind of had that high performance background, you know, I always say to students, open days, and people I work with is, what's your and? And they say, what do you mean? I say, well, you got a degree in sports psychology and what else? And they say, I don't understand. Well, you know, I won't name the team, but I want to work with professional rugby teams. And they spoke about the summer when students graduate, and their influx of letters from people who've been to a certain university and saying, I've just graduated from University X. And they're not written response, but the response that the guy who I knew in there looked in and said, well, what's the and? What's your and? And if everybody's done a degree in X, surely the only way we can differentiate those people is the additional things that those people to their colours. So, you know, I love travelling. I did quite a few years of just travelling, and that's a rich story to have with somebody because it gives you breadth, culture. It speaks of you as a person having confidence and awareness. You know, so, and even if it's something like, you know, I know a coach, a high performance coach, actually who's self-taught the guitar, you know, way back. Now, he didn't get the job he's got because by doing that. But one of my questions was him. I was fascinated how he taught himself the guitar. Didn't have a coach. So he's got a real understanding about learning. So therefore he's going to have a great understanding with athletes on a one-to-one. But it's the and whether your and is a point of conversation that will get you into the room alongside the qualification, but it will be a conversation starter with the person in front of you. Who knows what you may connect with? Yeah, I mean, I left my job when I graduated and went to New Zealand, you know, for 3 years. First thing I did was join a rugby club. English person and New Zealand rugby team. You know, that's interesting. I didn't get any. I was welcomed with open arms. You know, that wasn't my story to get my job, but it certainly is, you know, my and bit.
I really like that, and it was something that when I transitioned out of cricket, it was something that I'd really tried to. Well, weirdly enough, it was actually something I did pre-becoming a professional cricketer. Was I found it really important for myself to have my own USP as to why, when whoever's either trying to sign me in a contract or at the very early stages when I was sort of 14, 15, trying to get into trial setups for county age groups, but I needed to have a USP. I needed to be unique. I needed to have something. And I remember sort of sitting, I was in a gym, and I now really vividly remember this, just sitting there going, right, what makes you different? What makes you different, Lewis? And I'm sitting there like, and I'm sitting there going, I've got nothing. And well, I had my condition. So I'm like, well, I've got this condition, but that's got me on the back foot initially physically, but actually it puts me on the front foot because I'm probably resilient to overcome some things, and I might be braver in certain situations. So, okay, I've got that. That's unique. And then I start going a little bit further. I'm like, well, what skills can I be slightly different at? Well, I don't. But then you get into a comparison race, and I'm like, well, I'm not as good as them. I don't have the skills like them, but I'm left-handed. Okay, I'll take that. And it was something as simple as going, I'm left-handed, and that was where I started. And as I've grown up, and I continuously tried to do that, find out what my find out what your USP can be. How can I have my and so I would continuously try to add those in. So every year, whether I'm adding a new skill, I've got this extra skill, or it was me going to Australia when I was 18, having all these different experiences, then I would add maybe a characteristic. I need to be a better teammate, I need to be empathetic, I need to be caring, whatever it is, I need to be more hardworking, adding those in, and then get to retirement, and then you lose the sport. It's like, right now I'm no longer trying to be a professional athlete. Now, what is it that I want to do? How do I try to get where I want to get to? And I listen to, and I personally use his app, Sam Harris, Waking Up. I promote my own app, but I use his app for myself. He spoke in a podcast about how he's a mindfulness meditation teacher and a neuroscientist. And he openly admitted, he's like, I'm not the best meditation teacher in the world. I'm not the best neuroscientist in the world. But put them together, I could possibly be the best one combined. And I was like, that is neat. And I then realized, I sort of sat down and went, well, what is everything that I've done? So I've overcome my condition, become a professional cricketer. I've become a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, breathwork coach, PT. Like, I've done all these different experiences. Then I've traveled here, done that. And then you if you sit down long enough, is where I'm getting with this, is that if you sit down long enough, you can find your ands, you can find all your unique elements that come up to you. And then if you can't find them, start making them. Like you said, I mean, I'm learning the guitar, so I'm self-teaching myself the guitar, and it's a fun experience, right? I'm left-handed. I couldn't find too many people that could teach me left-handed, so I was like, right, screw it, I'll just learn it myself. And then that gets me, I mean, even to the point where if you're going out on a date with someone, it's like, that's a conversation piece, right? It's something to start. And it's almost like starting your coaching relationship with people is like dating. They got to know a little bit about you first before they really want to get into a deeper relationship with you. So I think for people who I find always are struggling to find out what makes me unique, how can I be unique? I'm not as good as these people that I see out there on TV, and if you're a coach, I'm not as good as someone on Netflix or whatever it is. It's like, well, you will have a story somewhere. You'll have these bits about you somewhere. You just got to try and find them. Like, and it, for me, it didn't take too long. Once you start listing things out, you're like, oh, geez, I've done a bit. Hello, you legend. If you've enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy this video right here, which is the full unedited episode. Go on, head up to it. Up there. Go. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. I'll see you soon.